If, like me, you've ever wanted to take a feature film screenplay and turn it into a finished movie using AI tools, then today is a good day to be alive. I'm looking at Katalist today, which is a tool that will take your script and turn it into a finished storyboard. This is a pre-production and pre-visualization tool. The tool helps to take your ideas from a concept or from an actual finished script, from Final Draft or from Celtex, or just a PDF of a finished screenplay. That will do as well. And it takes it and it will turn it into the rough outlines of a storyboard. It gets you going. This tool is for people who work in production already, for people who work in film, television, music video production, advertising. The idea is that this tool helps you to be better with your collaborations. It helps you to get your vision across. It's good for pitching. It's a pre-production tool. It's not meant to create a finished movie. So let me show you what it does. This video is a paid promotion. I'm excited about that because I wanted to look at Katalist anyway, so that meant that they gave me free access to the whole tool. Hey! So once you log into the tool, you've got three options to get you started. A blank project to start from scratch, the option to upload a script, which I'm going to do here, and the option to also generate a script from just an outline idea. Let me show you what that does. If I take the synopsis blurb from the back of the book cover and I paste that into here, because I turned my feature film screenplay into a finished ebook, which you can buy on Amazon. And so the blurb from the back, I pasted it in here, and if you click generate script, it actually does a really good job at trying to take your script and break it down into its core component plot points so that you can generate a storyboard from that. Let me show you what happens when we click next. It will pick characters and locations from your script and try and turn it into something. We've got my characters, Ben, Daisy, Vivian. These are the default characters. If you create the project from this, and this is great fun. What's really interesting is to see what AI will do with an idea. And so reading through this is like reading an alternate version of where my story could have gone, which is really quite fun because I spent 10 years crafting this screenplay. I know it inside out. And so to see a different version of this is really quite entertaining to see. And it's done not a bad job of then throwing in some pictures. The picture quality isn't up to like Midjourney quality or Leonardo quality, but that's not the point at this stage. It's about getting a consistent story together, you'll see. So I was wondering about how long a project typically is. I asked the bot if there was a limit, and it came back and said there isn't a specific limit on the number of frames or shots in a project. Instead, the limitation is based on the length of the script. Generally, around 20 frames work well, as the back-end model may have difficulty understanding longer scripts. So play around. There's room for maneuverability there. I would probably break it down. For a feature film script, I would have a project per scene, and so that's what I tried to do next. They can import Final Draft, Celtex scripts, or a PDF, and if I upload the script for just one scene, then we've got 4 pages. It's much more manageable, and as I look at the breakdown, it's taken the action points, and basically these become the images in the storyboard. It's a starting point, and it's a great starting point. If I click next here, the scene is an opening shot of an establishing shot of London, and then there's a nightclub in the West End, and then the characters are introduced as the first scene unfolds in this nightclub at Daisy's 18th birthday party. So here we are. I can give my project a new name. We've got characters lined up: Daisy, her boyfriend, a waitress, and a policeman. You'll see in a moment I need to edit this, but this is how we get started. So after a couple of minutes, your initial outline storyboard appears. And there's a lot of work to do to it still, but it's a great way to get started. Let me show you some of the editing that you can do that's really fun. So let's start here. This opening shot, which is a hyperlapse. Well, we've got 2 London eyes. We only need 1. What I'm going to do very quickly is get the generative fill tool going out. I'm just going to type in here sky, and you've got the option for a negative prompt. What should not appear? London eye, sky, and London landscape skyline. And hey, there we go. we have lost the second London Eye. It's important to understand, if you actually look at the London Eye and the location, this is way off. But this tool is about pitching to clients. It's about getting your team on board with getting pre-visualization going. So that will do. Now that I'm happy with this shot, I'm going to click Assign to Storyboard. And now when we go back to the storyboard, that is now the opening shot with just one London Eye. I'm not going to do this fix for every shot in here, but just to show you what can be done. The characters now need fixing, and this is one of the brilliant things about this tool. So here's Daisy, and you'll notice these characters, they look all the same. They're the generic characters that have been assigned by Katalist. So let's change them. Let's change Daisy. And I have some characters that I prepared earlier in Midjourney. And by the way, handy hint, I get really wound up when I see characters breaking the fourth wall. It's a dead giveaway for AI. If you don't know what that is, that's when the character looks straight at the camera and addresses the audience. It almost never happens in film and television. It does happen in advertising, does happen in music videos, and it does sometimes happen, like in Deadpool, in film and television, but it's really rare. But you need to be able to control that. So I create characters in Midjourney, and I use the prompt looking away from the viewer, or looking away, until eventually I get shots where the characters are not looking straight down the barrel of the lens. Now, once I've got the characters I'm happy with, I've uploaded them in here. Let me show you how easy it is to add a new character, by the way. I've already done some, but if I were to upload a face reference, let's take this guy, for example. If I add him in, now I'll give him a description. Young black man wearing a black tuxedo, shirt and bow tie. Save that. And that's him there. We've got 50 custom characters to play with. They're really fun. And for a feature film, that's a good number. Mine come to just short of 50. So I'll easily use all 50. Anyway, I'm going to just add, I don't know if you remember this, but what I was actually doing was changing Daisy's face. And so here's one I prepared earlier. This picture here is Daisy from my she looks like this. That's a picture I prepared in Midjourney, and so I will click that, and you've got the option to confirm character appearance change. Do you want to regenerate all frames with this where this character appears? Yes, please regenerate. And here you get to see the images have been regenerated with Daisy now looking like the character, and she looks remarkably similar to the character in my original photo. Now, there's a lot to fix still. Let's look at, for example, this shot. It says, inside the nightclub we hear the thoughts of various clubbers. One guy gazing at a beautiful girl, the girl looking at herself in the mirror, another guy thinking about his girlfriend being out of town. Well, the AI's got really confused, and just what we have is a guy and a girl all blended into one, and the AI is hoping that that will just shovel out what I needed. So let's change. What we can do here is obviously rerun it. So without changing anything, we can just click on. And by the way, you'll notice that this was the default one that was originally created by Katalist. And this now is the new one. And as each new revision of a shot takes place, they all line up along here. Look, here we go. So here we've got, well, there's Daisy. This is another amalgamation. It's Daisy again. And we have at least a guy and a girl. Not the ones I'm looking for, but it will do for now. So what I'll do is accept that. We'll come back to that again another time. If I go back to the storyboard now, this is now the shot. Inside the nightclub, we hear the thoughts of various clubbers. One guy gazing at a beautiful girl, the girl looking at herself in the mirror. This looks a little bit more like it. But again, if you go back into it, you can see all these different versions. And I really like the way it's very, very simple to go back over different versions and select the one that you're looking for. Okay, I'm going to change some of these characters. Boyfriend, his name is Boyfriend Jake. And we're going to change his picture. That's Jake there. Regenerate. The waitress, I'm going to change her as well. And she is that girl there. I know because I've done this previously. And that's my waitress girl. I've set the waitress up to have a black shirt to look like she kind of belongs as a waitress in a nightclub. The policeman, by the way, I don't need that. On the script I uploaded, I still had the first shot from the next scene. And so I can actually go to the very, very end here. And this bit here with a cop car isn't necessary. So I can delete that. And I don't need the policeman from over here either. So that's just not necessary. And so you can kind of clean the whole thing up bit by bit. We're now starting to see a boyfriend appear, and this is boyfriend Jake. We're also starting to see a waitress appear with a birthday cake. This is great. These are important. Because I chose a dress that was a kind of boho babe, kind of happy hippie chick kind of dress, the AI has interpreted that as a wedding dress. And it's actually her 18th birthday party at a nightclub in London, but it's got a little bit squiffy, and so a lot of these shots end up looking more like a wedding reception than a nightclub because the AI is trying to interpret all of the bits together. You can try and change the background, the location. So let's say for example this shot here looks like they're giving their speech. I'm going to re-roll this to see if I get a better version of Jake wearing his black tuxedo. And he's not. The original Jake picture is him in a black tuxedo. Let me show you. This is how he should look. So we're way off from that. Well, let's see if we can fix one of these. Let's see which one looks most like. Daisy's gemstone necklace starts to glow. He's gazing. He's supposed to be looking at a glowing gemstone necklace on her neck, and that would be about here. So, well, let's see if we can change this a little bit. We're going to take generative fill, and we can change up. We can make that brush a bit bigger. Black tuxedo. And we will say no white tuxedo, please. That is just magnificent. Oh, AI. Well, we've got options. So let's go. What was the other one? I don't know what this is back here. Anyway, we're at least getting... Oh dear me. Anyway, here we go. We're getting closer to it. The generative fill tool is a really, really useful one. So I've talked about changing characters, changing their faces. In Midjourney, I've had them looking away so that it actually works really well. Most of the shots, you notice that nobody is breaking the fourth wall here. They're by and large, they're looking away from the camera because the original reference images had them looking away from the camera in the first place. So dumb little thing, but for me it helps. Let me show you one other. This shot should have Daisy in. This is supposed to be a waitress bringing Daisy her birthday cake. So let's regenerate that. All right, and now we're starting to get there. We've got a waitress who's bringing a birthday cake of sorts. We need Daisy in the shot being on the receiving end. Let's go with this shot. Let me show you pose control because that's really fun. And pose control, when you click on it, it gives you these nodes. To select a character, you kind of click the central node around where their collarbone is, and then double click any one of the nodes for that character. Let's take her arm, make it look like she's waving a little bit. Or better still, let's have her holding two hands under the tray. And here we go. We now have her, well, as it happens, it's changing. She's carrying a tray of food, but at least she has two hands, and you see the arm is now back holding with two arms under the tray, or on her hips. But you see, pose control is really helpful. It's hit and miss like many things with AI. Let's change the background. Let me show you this. So we've got location. It says bustling nightclub. It looks a bit like a wedding coffee shop type vibe. If I wanted to add a new background, let's do this. Let's pretend it's a grungy London nightclub. So dark, moody, grungy nightclub filled with menacing imagery, moody neon lighting, smoke and goth styling. Lots of goth styled people. All right, and here we go. As it happens, it's helped to create a moodier nightclub kind of background. The lighting isn't moody and nightclubby, but at least the background is. And so we've still got some work to do to kind of get this shot to where it should be, but you can see how the controls are there to begin to do that, to change the characters, to change the background. The elements are all there and they're starting to work together. They're a lot of fun to play with and quite useful. So here's something I would love to see in version 2.0 in the next release. I would love to see something that I call gaze control, and that's a really big deal. Now when you click on posing, you do have the option to control eyes and ears, and to some degree that allows you to turn the head a little bit. Let me show you with this. Let's see if we can get these two to look at each other. So click on it once to select the waitress, double click to select the nodes, and now what I'm going to do is take her nose over here, and I'm going to take this, and that is her ear. Okay, in theory she should be looking towards this girl here. So if I click generate, gaze control, by the way, is really important, because in any narrative film or TV story, in any story, you've got a character who is doing one of two things. They're running away from something that they don't want, or they're running towards something that they do want in one way or another. And where they look in each shot is pivotally important to show what their desires are and what their fears are. And so being able to control where a character is looking has a huge impact on telling the story visually. Now I'd love to be able to have this pose control type mechanism, and to be able to click in, like I would like to have been able to click on the girl here, and the gaze automatically would have been towards her. And I'd like to have two versions of that, either just with eyes, eye control, or whole head control. And to be able to pin a node on a point in a shot and have the character look there would be incredibly helpful, and that would be a massive move forwards in helping to actually tell a story visually, because at the moment all these shots are just characters just appearing in a background, and so many of the shots look essentially variations of the same shot that you can't review any story. A picture says 1,000 words. You should be able to see from the pictures what's going on in the story without having to read anything. We're nowhere near that yet, but it is getting there. It's moving in that direction, and I love what Katalist are doing here. Where they're going is really exciting for me and very important. And it's still a useful pre-production tool for getting teams to collaborate. Okay, now we've got... She is at least not looking in the same direction. You notice she's now looking in a different direction. So it's there. The possibility of being able to turn heads and control gaze is there, but it's awkward and difficult. In my experience using this, it's been hit and miss. So let's look at some other edits that are possible. Framing, we can change this from a shot from above, a shot from below. Let's see what a shot from above looks like. Let's turn it into a wide shot. Waiters carrying a tray with drinks and a birthday cake with sparklers, surprise Daisy. By the way, see hashtag waitress and hashtag Daisy. These are that's how you specify which characters. At the moment, it only supports 2 named characters in a shot. I'm sure it will get broader than that. We can obviously change the location, which we're going to leave as Grungy Nightclub. And this is where you can specify more of the actual prompt itself. So what you see at the top here, this is the assigned description from the storyboarding process to be more specific about the prompt and what's in the shot, that's when you edit here and down here, where you can kind of edit more of the location information. So let's see how it looks with a shot from above and a wide shot. So it's slightly wider, it's slightly higher, there's still no daisy, but you can see how you can start to play around with that. Let's turn this, for example, into a birthday cake. Birthday cake with sparklers. What we don't want is lots of fairy cakes. And here we have, whoa, now we've got birthday cake stuff going on. Let's go with this one. She's got fairy cakes with sparklers in as well as the, the big birthday cake. So you've got all kinds of levels of tremendous control to build your shot, to edit your shot, to really craft it into something that's much more, that is more dynamic. There's a free 7-day trial version if you're looking for a freebie, so you can do the try before you buy. Go give it a try, see how it works for you.